Morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. This is where they say good morning back, but they can't talk. So this is where I listen to myself.
They're saying, leave your questions. Hello, we can hear you, says Michelle.
Sweet.
She also says well, it looks like it's a one-way conversation, two-way, us and Michelle.
Okay, so
Thank
far.
you, Michelle.
Yeah, so it'll change. Questions. We've got some questions that have been thrown at us a little bit or prior to this event. If you guys have any questions while we're logged on, please feel free to let us know. Just drop them in the chat. Happy to answer them. If Travis misses it on the screen there, Andrea behind the scenes, please just raise your hand and let us know, or just start talking. Anthony, if you see anything coming over on Instagram, please let us know. And we're going to attempt Q&A.
I'm on it.
All right, so first question that came through.
Oh, I just lost my whole computer.
That's all right. You
Oh,
ready?
there it goes. It's back.
Okay. Where did my coffee go? There it is. Watch this. I'm off camera, everybody. And I'm back. Okay. First question, Q&A. When do you see the market changing?
All right. I like this question. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
When do you see the market changing? Now. However, actually, I wrote this out. I'll just read it. Actually, go ahead. I'll say my comments.
So, funny, I saw this question, and the first thing that popped into my mind was, what difference does it make?
Exactly. And that's where my comments went.
Yeah.
It says that shouldn't change the amount of work you're doing.
Exactly.
And we need to adjust to the market.
Correct.
But we don't increase or decrease the amount of work we're doing based on what we're seeing in the market.
Correct.
That's the biggest problem for agents.
It's more of a pivot, and what things are you going to do to pivot to take advantage of whatever situations are coming up in the new changes, or overcome any challenges or anything like that. One example, hey, we know that for the last few months, if you had early December, January, you had the privilege of having a listing and you had an open house, you knew you had 100 plus people, 200 plus people going through there. So how did you pivot? How did you adjust to deal with that many people coming through, to make sure you're capitalizing on that and making sure that you are getting the most out of that situation? So the market changes. It's, again, how do I pivot and make those adjustments? And so that answer is
Always.
exactly.
Yeah.
Always innovating. Always. I mean, look at us. The set that we're working on today is completely different. This is what happens when Amazon shows up right before the podcast is going to start, or the live is going to start, as we start looking at things and seeing what's going to work and what's not going to work. In case you didn't notice, there's two different scenes behind us.
Almost looks like we're in two different rooms.
Right? So, experimenting with a lot of different things and things of that nature. But, we obviously feel that video is very, very important. So we are in a position where we're trying to build our product, or not, I don't want to say products, our equipment that we've got, everything from lighting to backgrounds to audio, to make sure that we're keeping up, and not just keeping up, but staying ahead of the curve with regard to being able to do video production in-house and out. So,
Or whatever it may be that people want to do.
exactly. All right. So, any other comments? When do you see the market changing?
No,
Besides
that's
now.
all I got to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
It's always changing.
So the question might have come up from hey, we're seeing interest rates rising. Kind of, what are your concerns, or are there any concerns, or see anything happening from that? And
Concerns? No.
okay.
Change? Yes. I mean, when there is 8% plus inflation, when interest rates on home mortgages on the rise, when just the cost of everything is going up, that will affect the market. Just no question about it. So it's going to change. If you want to get more details on that, Stephen Thomas moved his usual Friday 3 o'clock update to today at 3 o'clock.
Oh,
so
okay.
go to Facebook, check out OC Housing Report.
OC Housing Report.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, and actually
3 o'clock today, he'll be
you're
live.
on Facebook already. If you're watching this, you're either on Facebook or Instagram. So just don't move over to his channel yet.
No. 3
Yeah.
o'clock. 3 o'clock.
The great speakers are on now. Yeah. So we're the opening band. I'm new to.
We have a question from Michelle.
Go for it, Michelle. What's your question?
How important is video in your business?
Let me ask you, when you
It's a good
go
question.
home and you have a little bit of downtime, what are you doing?
Watching videos
Probably.
or watching TV.
Yeah.
Listening to podcasts. You know. But I don't know. When I hear this question, I look at this question as kind of depending on where you're coming from. So how important is video in your business? And hey, let's say you just took a listing. Is video an important part of the photography? Let's say you're into social media. Is video an important part of you being out there? I feel like there's different aspects to that question.
Well, my answer is yes to all that.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a branding and marketing, right? So a lot of people want to say, well, I made a video, but I didn't get any business out of it. Well, you got the wrong mentality about it. You know, it's something that has to be the bigger part of everything that you're doing.
Right.
But everyone's doing video right now. Well, the world's going to video. And so you better get used to it. If you're not in it, find a way to get involved.
And you just said some powerful words.
Thank you.
Everybody is doing video right now, but in reality, everybody's really not. You are present to video because you think it's important, so you're seeing it more and more. But when we look at our industry as a whole, how many people are actually implementing video into their portfolio as far as business, and whether it be social media or presentations at properties, things like that, the number is actually still very, very low.
Okay, I guess when I said that, I meant the world.
The world is,
the,
absolutely.
you know, businesses and where everyone's going. You're right. I see a lot of video, but it's generally the same people over and over again.
Exactly.
That's a good point. So there's a lot of space left.
Tons of space. Yes, we are at the bottom of that curve.
I mean, what's your consumer think if you go to take a listing and they're like, oh, and you're going to video the property? Oh, no, I don't do that.
Exactly.
What? You might lose that listing on that.
Do you YouTube? Do you 3D video walkthrough tour? Are you doing drones?
You can talk, you know, hey, I send out a live right before I have your open house. You'll see me. I'll be announcing the property, talking about the highlights. I mean, you can do it in a million different ways.
And how often now do you hear when you're running into people? This is my favorite part, because here's the second question. Well, why should I do video? Nobody's watching. Starting to hear it more and more often. Hey, I saw, boom. And the comments can come from all different sorts of, hey, I saw that your videos are just casual. I saw you're doing like great production here, or I just saw you, or you made me laugh, whatever the case may be. The bottom line is they saw it and they're commenting on it, which gives you an opportunity to develop that relationship.
Or, hey, I just saw one of your videos, so I went to your feed, and wow, I didn't realize all that you did. Man, you do a lot for your customers. Because Facebook puts us into such little boxes. You ever notice that? So I'm in the habit now of searching for people to try and pull them back into my feed so I can see what's going on. Otherwise, we're stuck with the same 10, 15 people, and it rarely mixes up very much. So, yeah.
Like it. All right. So, Michelle, hopefully that answered your question. I'm new to the... Oh,
She has another question. How is the best way to handle other professionals who do not act professionally?
we covered that a little bit yesterday.
Kill them with kindness.
That was Travis's answer. Mine was I usually fall off the deep end and have to go back and apologize. Which both ways work.
Well, here's, I'm going to go ahead and say it. So I come from a multi-generational brokerage. Many of you have been under the umbrella of both generations, and my father used to always say, here at RE/MAX Premier Realty, we are the professionals.
Yes.
We are going to run into numbskulls out in the marketplace. Your job is when someone fails to do their job, you pick up that ball and you get it across the end line. That's what professionals do.
That was pretty well said.
Thank you.
I don't have anything else to back. I'm going to go with my ditto. You know, it's fun. Again, this was part of the conversation we had yesterday, and I honestly went to Travis during our conversation yesterday, and my question to him was, how do you do it in these situations where you stay so calm and rational and things like that? Because I'm finding myself jumping off the deep end and, you know, throwing a punch back, basically, and not physical punch, but in our industry, being a little too snarky in some cases. So, yeah, it's just part of the business, Michelle. Unfortunately, it's out there, and I will tell you this. That comes with becoming busier. That comes with getting bigger, becoming more successful. The more successful you become in this industry, the more you will see and have those situations come up. So if it's happening, kudos. That's a good thing. Just look at it that way, that ask for more of it, because then that means more business is coming in your way.
Yeah, it's like the people who complain about taxes, so they don't want to make any more money because they don't want to pay more taxes. Oh my God, what are you talking about? Okay, so one of the objections I do hear though is, wait a minute, so I'm doing all the work and this numbskull's still getting paid a commission. I can't argue around that. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. But you know what else is going to happen? Is your client's going to be like, man, you are awesome. I'm going to tell my friends about you. And you know what? That cooperating agent's client is going to go, man, my agent's a numbskull. I like you, Nestor. I'm going to start talking to you.
And you know what? Future business. Hey,
Exactly.
You hear it, and
They're going to slowly die off because that
Right.
he cannot last if that's how you operate. And if we play it right, we will continue to grow.
you see, examples of it are happening. Hey, the offer didn't get accepted, and you get a phone call as a listing agent from a buyer that says, hey, I was working with such and such agent, my offer didn't get accepted. I accept that, but I liked what I saw with you, and moving forward, I want to work with you.
Yep, we see it every day.
We're seeing that. So, yeah, kill them with the kindness. I love it. All right. Before I get to any of the other questions, Michelle, anything else there?
No, yeah, we got to spread the love.
Okay. Love this question. I'm new to the industry. What are some of the struggles I can anticipate?
Let me see. I've got my notes here. I did think these through because I hate being on the spot. I know you love that. All right. Oh, I don't see that here. How would you differentiate yourself?
No. So
I'm in this. Oh, what are the struggles?
Yeah. What struggles can I anticipate? I'm
I
new to this
just-
business.
How much time do we have? I mean, you're basically you're gonna have struggles throughout the career. It doesn't. I mean, it starts with you beginning in the business, and certainly there's a learning curve, but that continues because
Right.
we're always bobbing and weaving, learning new things. Industry changes. When I got in this business, we had dot matrix printers and DOS-based MLS. How do you operate under that?
Right.
We didn't know any different, and now we're operating off of our phones. So I mean, things are always changing. We're always having to learn. But to get specific, rejection. You got to get used to it,
Okay.
right?
I agree. I look at it, and you bring up dot matrix, and when we got in the industry roughly around the same time. There was about a year or so difference between us. But here's one thing that I know back then versus right now in our industry. When you got into real estate back then, it was freaking hard. When you get into real estate now, it's freaking harder.
Yeah.
It's
Good point. All these tools and things are supposed to make it easier. Yeah, the industry itself,
It's
harder
harder
to break into.
It is harder to break into. I see more challenges as a newer agent getting into this business and setting yourself up for success now so more than ever. And it's a shame because I feel like the world and the environment makes it look like it's such an easy industry to become successful in and have a good career in, and it couldn't be further from the truth.
Yep.
Now, I'm not saying that to discourage somebody that's gotten into this industry or is looking for success. I'm saying it to be realistic and be transparent in really what it's going to take, because that's the other part that I see so often is people sugarcoat it and, oh yeah, just do this and you'll be fine, or it's this easy. And no, it's going to take hard work. But on the flip side of that, the reward
Unbelievable.
can be, absolutely.
I will second you. There's absolutely room in this industry for professionals who want to get into it. And I have two more of the struggles that I think go along with this. First is consistency. That's probably one of the biggest struggles in this business. A lot of people are so in the now, can deal with things, and they're great. There's some people who can convert, and they need the opportunity now. But if they have to look as much as a couple days a week, God forbid a month or a year,
Right.
they're dead in the water because they just can't lay out that plan.
Right.
That is burnout. That agent will not last in this industry. They could do phenomenally well for a while, but eventually they're just going to crash and burn
Right.
because you can't be so in the moment. And the second is being your own boss. Most people don't realize that. I've interviewed so many people who are executives, corporate executives, attorneys, very high-level people, and more times than not, I literally had them come back into my office and go, you know what, Travis? I had no idea how difficult this business is. And a lot of it has to do with, in other environments, you have a structure.
Right.
And you know where you're going, you know what to do, you have someone to help you, to tell you, and push you along. Here, that's you, man. It's all on you, and that's a unique thing that, for people, is not everyone can do that.
Right. Great question. I love that question. Well, you know what? I'm going to back that question up with this one that we got as well. So, I'm assuming this question came from somebody that was new in the business. Should I get a part-time job while I'm trying to build my real estate business?
No. Okay, so we just told you real estate's harder than any other industry.
Right.
So what makes you think you can juggle 2 jobs at the same time?
Right.
No. To give yourself a fair opportunity at this business and to do it right, you've got to be full-time. Have people had a part-time job or a job, as a matter of fact, and been able to get into the industry? Yes.
Very few.
Very unique people, very committed, who have consistency, have the ability to organize themselves, but the majority of people can't, and you're waiting around for business more than you're building a business.
Correct. Yeah, that number is so small. My answer to that question is real simple. And if you're out there and you do have a part-time job and you're trying to build this real estate business, my answer, not going to like it, is quit real estate and get a full-time job. That's, unfortunately, that's the reality in it, is that this is just, if you're going to make a commitment to this industry and actually try to make it long-term, that commitment starts with 100% and having both feet in. All right.
How do I get listings?
You can pray to the gods. You can throw a dart at the board. You can buy Zillow leads. I'm being funny, or at least I'm attempting to be funny. How do I get listings? I go back and I start with what's my plan and what am I consistently doing on a daily basis to differentiate myself and be out there and create opportunities.
Okay, stop right there. What do I do on a daily basis? I think people come into this industry or look at this industry and they're like, wow, look at this person has all these listings. How do they get it? I want that. People are just calling them to list houses. Why aren't people calling me to list houses? Have you put the time in grade?
Right.
Do you know what's been happening behind the scenes? It's very unusual for someone to get a listing without laying the groundwork.
True.
Getting that trust in people and being consistent, so when the time's right, people feel comfortable to list their house with you.
Very, very true.
Now, do you get in the business and someone gets a listing right away? Of course. But it's not going to last unless you lay that groundwork.
Correct. So, and I hear this question and I look at it, hey, well, you could start a geographic farm. You can go to your center of influence. And I think that my real simple answer would be, one of the techniques that's out there that keeping it super simple, 5-5-4. 5 contacts a day of people that you know, 5 new contacts a day of people that you don't know, and 4 is following up with 4 of the people that you contacted before. That's it. So it's 5 new people, 5 people you already know, 4 follow-ups.
Yep. This is a contact sports, folks.
Correct.
You got to be in front of people, but you kind of poo-pooed a little bit, but I'll say it anyways. Get started on a geographical farm, day one, because it takes time.
It does
These
take
things
time.
don't just materialize. You're trying to build your brand. You're trying to get people to trust you, and that takes time. You got to go out there, and you got to act like the professional.
I agree.
And you got to play the part.
I don't want to say that I poo-pooed it, but unfortunately, when we talk about geographic farms, we tend to think in the traditional way of, okay, so I need to find a manageable size area, and I can start creating marketing pieces to go out there. And honestly, it's expensive. It's expensive to create that geographic farm in the very beginning, and there's a lot of time that's put into it before it's going to start to pay dividends. my point was, hey, you can have that geographic farm, but you could also start with that 554 in that geographic farm. It doesn't have to be, hey, I've got to have my next 6 months mailing pieces ready and things like that. I'm more about how do I just get started on a daily basis to create that consistency, and then how do I add layers to it? So, hey, here's my geographic farm. It's these 500 houses. I can be out there every day, run into 5 new people, have a conversation with 5 people I already had a conversation with, and follow up with my conversations that I had before when somebody asked me a question about whatever. And can I create a business like that? Yeah, I actually can.
Absolutely.
If I do it long enough and consistently enough.
So number 2 here for me was door knocking, which is, you pick that area and you go knock the doors in there. So you hit the numbers that you're going to do.
Yes.
Do just listed, just sold knockings. Just get belly to belly.
Well, that was one of the questions is what do I say if I go door knocking?
Oh.
Yeah, that was
Ready?
actually one of the
I got
questions
that
I
here.
was on there. Did you miss that one?
No, I got it. I got it.
So what do I say or what do I do if I do go door knocking? And
I want to door knock. I don't know what to say. Just listed, just sold.
yes.
How you doing? Travis Barron, Remax Premier Realty. Don't know if you knew it, but a house down the street just sold. Matter of fact, it looks like it might be your model house. Here's some information on it. Thought it'd be of use to you. Have you ever considered buying or selling a house? No. Okay, you ready for the key? This is the one I think is the key. Okay, I can understand. This is a beautiful neighbor. I wouldn't want to leave it either. Do you happen to know or have heard of anybody on the street that's been thinking about selling? Woo! People love to talk about their neighbors, man.
Exactly.
So don't miss that. Is there anyone on the street that has mentioned thinking about selling? That's gold.
Here is, and if you didn't pick up on that, and here's why that is so powerful. Yes, we do like to talk about other things that are going on in the community and our neighborhood, but it's way easier to have a conversation when it's not about us.
Yes,
And
exactly. The pressure's off.
The pressure, there's a big difference between, Travis, I'm here today because I wanted to know if you want to buy or sell, versus Travis, I'm here today because I'm just checking to see if you've overheard of anybody in the community is thinking of buying or selling. Going to that third party situation, so I'm not asking you directly.
Yep.
And
Very valid point.
it is much easier to keep the defenses down and actually be able to have a dialogue going back and forth.
Yep.
But I agree. I agree with your approach and making sure you have value around, hey, this is a just listed, just went on, or just sold, and giving that update. A lot of people don't realize that we think as agents, everybody in that community knows who that listing agent was and who sold it.
Or even pays attention to what's going on.
Yeah, they know because the sign's up there and this. They don't.
Yeah.
Majority of the people don't. They make an assumption. So if you walk up to that door and you're giving information on a property, they're making that same assumption that you're affiliated or associated with that property. Now, I'm not saying lie or be deceptive, but
Bringing information.
bringing information, exactly.
Number 2 for me was buyer need. If you have a buyer, or you know what I used to do? I used to come to the office meetings back when we'd have a lot of listings to pitch, and it was just a different time.
Right.
And I would listen to the agent's buyer needs.
Exactly.
And I would sometimes go up to him and say, what are you looking for exactly? Let me get some details. Or if it was detailed enough, I would just write it down and I would go out and start door knocking it.
Yep.
I didn't have the buyer. I just wanted to get in front of people, but I felt I was justified to be there because I knew someone needed to get in there.
Absolutely.
Best case scenario would be I'd be able to secure a listing and then present it to that agent for their buyer.
Absolutely. So one of the things I don't like in the door knocking, I'm not a big advocate of just introducing yourself. As a newer agent or even an experienced agent, I don't believe in door knocking just to say, hey, I'm Nestor with Remax Premier Realty and I just came in the neighborhood today to introduce myself. I'm not a big advocate of that. I like to be able to bring value to them. And the value can be anything. I remember one of my transactions that occurred that came from a door knocking situation was I was door knocking because there was going to be a power outage. We had an
that's
internet
great.
outage here in the office.
And we're having another one coming up, by the
Right.
way.
And that's important information.
Yep.
And I was door knocking and I don't know if you got the information, but I forgot who the power source was at that time in that neighborhood, but they announced that there was going to be a power outage this Saturday from such and such time to such and such time. Nothing. One door opened up, and the lady said, "Honey, did you know about this?" And they started having a conversation, and it became an important situation because they were having a birthday party that
Oh,
weekend
wow.
for their kids. And how are the blow-ups going to work for the party? And we have all these people coming
Better
over.
get some generators.
That's exactly what I did.
Oh.
So I had happened to just sold a house to a guy that was working over at Shepherd Rentals. So I called him up, closed desk. I said, "Any chance I can get a generator from you?" And he said, "Sure." We became friends because I did just help him buy a house. He said, "Absolutely." Went and picked up a generator, dropped it off at their house. Listing,
Yeah, we are golden.
listing, sold, or listing, purchase. I think they've done like six or seven transactions now.
Nice.
Came with value. Was it valuable to everybody? No, most of the people already knew about it.
So on that note, I was trying to figure out something to do in my farm, and someone came and presented this program that Irvine had. I don't know if they still have it. It's called Watch the Water. Are you familiar with that?
Nope.
Well, they used to have these packets, and it would talk about watching the water because I guess we had some child drownings in pools, and so they were trying to bring to people's attention, paying attention to your pool. One of the things was that a lanyard that you put over your head, and if you had that lanyard on at your house, you did not leave that pool. It was your eyes on the pool, and if you were going to leave that pool, you needed to provide that to someone else who was going to be out there watching the pool. I put together a bunch of those packets. I just started knocking on doors. "How you doing, Travis Barron, Remax from Realty? I'm going around to find people who have pools. Do you have a pool?" "Nope, sure don't." "Okay, well, I was just doing a Watch the Water. Do you know anyone who might have a pool that might be able to use one of these packets?" I was giving them out to people that didn't even have pools. But I thought it was something important and something of value. And so you have to think of these things when they come up. You know, no one's going to come up to you and say, "Hey, you should door knock this. Go do it."
Right,
No,
right.
you have to hear the idea and think, "Hey, that'd be a good idea for door knocking." So,
Absolutely.
boy, we're punching door knocking right in the face here. All right, so in your farm, now this is going to go a little bit different than where you were at. Even if it's not of value, I used to go around, well, I had a little calendar I'd give out, but I'd go in my farm and I'd literally be like, "Hi, how you doing? I'm Travis Barron with Remax Premier Realty. Just want to drop by and introduce myself today. I have a calendar for you for next year. Help you get organized. Have a great year." By
So
the
you
way,
were bringing value.
I guess in a way it was a calendar.
You had something for them. You had a
Yeah.
gift. You had something for them rather than just, "Hey, I'm just here to say who I am."
And I kind of did that, and I said, "You know, I work the neighborhood. If I can ever do anything for you, let me know."
Right.
Have you ever thought, going the whole spiel? But it's the layers
Yes.
so you can just do your introduction as long as you're in layers. If you're just going to introduce yourself and then disappear out of the neighborhood, I think that's a very low value activity.
Absolutely.
But if you're going to door knock and say, "Hey, I'm here to help you if I can do anything for you," and they see your for sale sign, they see your open house signs, they see your community activity, they see the food trucks that you brought to go with the movie, with whatever you're doing around the neighborhood, that is gold.
Showing up.
Yeah? Layer it. Show up and layer it.
And I think you threw a little consistency in there too.
Oh, you have to. This has to be planned out. You have to know what you're doing. So it's definitely not for the faint of heart.
All right.
Now someone sent through one here. Oh, I think it's creative separation. Yeah, it's Michelle gave us another one, which was one that we got ahead of time.
Okay.
Which was, how would you differentiate yourself from everyone else in the market and create separation to develop domination as a listing agent? Can I answer the first one?
I love this question.
I wrote, be amazingly present in your farm. Don't sit in your chair here and pay people and mail things into your farm. Be amazingly present in your farm.
So I love the answer. Elaborate. Because I had the
Okay.
same answer, but my answer was basically do this, do this, do this. And you summed it up.
Yeah, so one thing I did that is super old school, but my father would tell me when he was in the business, he's like, we had MLS books. We had no idea if new listings were coming or were on the market. He's also, every day in the morning, I'd get up, and on my way to the office, I'd go through my farm. I would drive every street looking for signs and or lock boxes, and I would take notes so that I would know what the inventory is and update my book. And I thought, well, that's kind of smart. So I would, pretty much every day, drive through my farm, go through all the streets, wave at people, be looking for things just like him, because you will pick up on things. You'll
Right.
see a sign that you didn't know it was there and isn't in the MLS. I mean, what's that? You'll see the moving truck. You'll see the vacant house in these things. And so that's one way. And mine, I think at that time I already had my vanity plates. So people knew who I was. They knew my car. And so I just got value of driving. Oh, there's Travis. There he is.
And all the little things in that compound effect that add up over and over and over again. So Travis just mentioned something, vanity plates. There's a couple of other agents in the office that have specialized plates that are branding themselves. So what does that do for you? And you look at it and it's like, well, if your car's parked in the community and somebody sees that, they start to identify with you. It's just that extra layer where they start to understand who is behind the wheel of that vehicle. And, well, it's here today, and it's here tomorrow, and it's here in the morning, and it's here on the weekends. And, oh, it's here on the weekends because I go hiking in the community, or it's here on the weekends because I'm doing an open house, or it's here during the week because I'm previewing, or I'm, whatever the case may be. That's one thing.
It's a billboard.
Exactly, but you're showing up, and then it's like, how else am I showing up? I want to dominate. You look at what everybody else is doing, and you blow them away everywhere that they're not. That's where I would start. If I'm trying to take over something and be competitive in an environment that's already have what we call celebrities in there in our industry, where are they not? Because very few people are everywhere. And okay, well, this agent, they send out flyers every single week, and so they're in my mailbox every single week. Okay, well, if you're going to compete with them, you're going to have to be in the mailbox every single week too. But does that necessarily make sense? No. Hey, but they're not online. Okay, well then that's where you start. You go online and you create your presence there, and you create a presence, in a different arena from them, and start to create traction from there. Now, once traction is created, it's how, again, going back to your layers. How can I layer it? When you get started in this business, one of the things we always say is it costs money or time. Time or money, combination of the two. When you become successful in this business and you want to grow more and take it to the next level, it costs more money, more time. And too often we forget to reinvest back into our industry and ourselves. And I would say if you want to dominate, make sure that you've got that budget set of what you're going to be doing and putting out there on a regular basis. And then what else am I allocating and what else am I adding in and layering on so I can, say, boom, I see you everywhere. That's what you're looking for.
Gary Kent, the realtor you see everywhere. That was literally his tagline in San Diego. And it was true. He was like on every bus stop and everything. Yeah, I think things like videos, people, again, like you said, yeah, we think everyone has video, but really it's a very small percentage of the agents. But some of that powerful stuff is doing neighborhood videos.
Yep.
Hey, this is why I love living in Woodbridge. Hey, this is why I love living in Southlake. Hey, this is why I love living in Northlake. What was the other one I put on here? Local businesses. Hey, did you know this new coffee shop just opened over here? I'm going to interview Joe, the manager. Hey, be involved in your community. Be part of that community, and then put that out there for people to see. Really push it out.
Absolutely. And I love the community stuff, and people have to get creative with that. Travis just, hey, why I love, Southlake, why I love Northlake. Hey, here we go. Travis, 5 things to do in Irvine. 5 things to do.
Absolutely.
Five hikes you got to do if you live in Irvine. 5 hikes you have to do if you're in, or 5 things you have to do if you live in Woodbridge. 5 things you have to do if you live in North Park or the Great Park.
5 restaurants you can't miss.
Exactly. Boom. Make these
5
things.
coffee stops, none of which are Starbucks.
There you go. There you go. So it's, being out there and just reinvesting in yourself and making sure, again, it's all, it's funny. I think that I'm feeling like we're becoming repetitive because our answers are kind of the same for every question. Be consistent.
Yeah. Well, I got one more for this topic, and it is basically be in contact one-on-one forever. And it's so important. It's really great now, we used to, I remember when I had a Trio 3. Do you remember the Trios? It was the first melding of a PDA and a phone.
Right.
And I loved it. And now everybody has this. And even our Bouge CRM is mobile. So I can be out there, and if I run into Nestor in the farm, I'm like, oh, I haven't met him before. Okay, Nestor, I could do it right on the spot. Put your address, if I had your number or anything. And I ran into him. He was loading up his jet skis. to go to the lake. He enjoys jet skis. I should have jet skis on my mind constantly. And if I ever see anything about them, I'm contacting Nestor.
Right.
Oh man, I didn't know they had jet skis out on Newport Bay. Is that a good place to go jet skiing? You know, and you enjoy jet skis, so you're gonna love talking about it.
Right.
And that's how you make that connection with people. So what did I write here? You know, you gotta be in contact one-on-one forever, constantly be finding reasons to be in contact with people. It could be as simple as market information, so something fairly general, but the best is your prospects' hobbies and likes. To be able to be in contact with them and see them get excited because you talked about something that they enjoy.
Love it. Love it. I love it. All right. Other questions? I know I had a couple. It's kind of along the same lines. What things should I put in place to implement or what things should I put in place and implement to scale my business to the next level?
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah,
I know, I got a long answer.
I'm sorry.
I got a long answer.
Go for it.
All right. What do you think the first one is? Think of Travis in real estate.
Have a system.
Systems.
Yep.
No question about it. In writing, what do I do when I go to a listing presentation? What do I do when I'm working the first time with a buyer? Where's my marketing plan? How am I working that? Have it in writing. These are living documents, but when we review them, we get done what we need to get done. When we keep it in our head, we get done what we're thinking of, and we miss a lot. And so you're not going to be anywhere near as effective without having these systems, quote unquote, checklists for your business. And the best part is, as you're going to become the most efficient self you can with these systems before you say, my efficiency isn't keeping up with what I need to do. Guess what you have now?
Got a booklet or a outline to be able to hand to somebody else.
Job description.
Yep.
Nestor, I need help. I'm going to give you $20 an hour. Here's what I need you to do.
Exactly. And that was exactly what I was going to piggyback with, because we get so comfortable and we know what we're doing and just the day-to-day and things are going on and stuff like that, and you want to take your business to the next scale or to the next level and you want to scale up, well, it's going to probably require bringing on an assistant or a buyer's agent or somebody from marketing, whatever the case, whoever you choose to bring into that world first. And one of the things I will say and I see in our industry is we're crappy trainers as real estate agents. You bring on that assistant or you bring on that person in marketing and you bring on that buyer's agent and
you walk away.
Exactly. And so crappy is probably a bad word. We're just
not good at it.
We don't have the system in place to train them properly. And what you just said was, if you're actually got those things step by step, you've got a great foundation to start with of boom.
And then, your regular meetings and touch base to make sure they get their questions answered and that they're getting done what they're supposed to get done. But you're 50% of the way or better there.
They have something to look at to generate questions for themselves. Okay,
Yeah.
as my buyer's agent, hey, Travis, this is the checklist that I go through with every single buyer as I qualify them. And this is how I qualify them before we even get them in the car. Here's my list of questions. Here's what I'm looking for and what they need to do before they get anywhere. Okay? Now, if I gave that to you and you started to look at it, you'd have a basic guideline of where we're going versus if I said, hey, Travis, you know what?
Go work with these people.
Yeah. Before you put them in the car, just make sure they're qualified.
Yeah. And then you have them, they're going through and they're like, hey, you get into the meeting, hey, Nestor, you told me that I need to do this task. And, can you tell me a little bit more why we do this? Because really, I think we should get rid of this. And I'd rather do this. I think it'd be more efficient. All of a sudden, you got two of you working on your system to improve it.
There you go.
So powerful.
So, systems, absolutely.
And then, so jumping over to, okay, well, I need help. So how do I begin with help? And I think it was an amazing idea from Jared James last week at the RE/MAX event that I wish we would have had more people going to, but we had a number of people there benefiting from his presentation. And he said, when you're looking for help, here's what you need to do first. An example. Because we always think, I need help. So I need an assistant, or I need a marketing person, or I need a buyer's agent. He's like, nope. So you know what you need? You need to free up your time first. Because you need to be the whole you before you can ask anybody to come on and help you.
Right.
So what's the problem? You're watching the kids too much? Your first help is a nanny. You hire a nanny. That frees you up to be more efficient and effective in your business.
Right.
Okay, you do that? Do you go grocery shopping a lot? Is that a big pain? Okay, you're going to start getting it delivered to your house. You're going to order it online, have it delivered to your house. Don't ever step in a grocery store again. Get home, get it. And he made the example. He's all, I know what you're going to say. Oh, but Jared, they're not going to pick out the good bananas. He's like, get over it. You're going to do fine. And once you get going on that, you're going to be shocked at how much time that you save.
Right.
So it's really getting yourself in order and your time to its fullest.
Well, and I see that. You know, are you cutting your own lawn? Do you have a gardener? Do you have a house cleaner? Things like that. And some of we can start to go down the road. Oh, those are all privileges and things.
No,
like
those
that.
are all great.
They're freeing up your time to be able to do other things. And I would challenge if you actually did a measure. Well, which one's cheaper? Hiring somebody, as an assistant to come on that you're paying an hourly basis and we're not training properly to, versus, hey, let me hire this person to help me do this task that I already do. And if I don't have to do it, I have more time to maybe train that person or to put more time into my business here.
Exactly.
I love it.
So I thought, I don't know why, it just wasn't something I had really considered a whole lot because we always think it has to be related to my business. No.
It doesn't.
Because you don't even need someone helping you until you're fully vested, till you're overflowing at the top, right? And then looking at the next step, it's probably an assistant. You got to have probably a part-time assistant to start helping you, come in a few days a week to pick up the loose ends. Then you go to a full-time assistant that's helping you put things together that you don't need to be doing. You just need to have them available to go do what you're doing. And then you go to a buyer's agent. I mean, people want to do a buyer's agent immediately, and I think that's the wrong thing.
I think the buyer's agent's probably one of the last things that you should be adding, especially, we're in a unique environment. We've got a lot of agents in the office, and I guess I look at it as, hey, there's plenty of people that are looking for business that you can give business away to that are very competent and able to help you out and just asking for a referral fee.
Yeah, absolutely.
No different than a buyer's agent for about 90% of it.
100% agree.
All right. How are we doing on the questions?
That's it. I don't see anything. Have you seen anything come in, Andrea?
Anything else come in?
No.
Okay.
All right, well, we got some more, so we're good to go.
Sweet.
Let's see. What have we not covered here? Oh, wait.
I think I got them all.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
That was it.
Perfect. That was exciting.
I think that was some pretty good information, good stuff to talk about.
It actually got me fired up on a couple of things, and I always take away so I'll end with this because I'm feeling like we're going to start wrapping up here. Do not become overwhelmed with everything we said. Figure out that one thing that you can start to do and implement.
So that's another thing Jared James said, which was fantastic. He said, oh, I know all these people, they read a book a week. They think they're so great and they've got all these information. I'm going to read 52 books this year. He goes, how about this? How about you read one book
52 times.
and each week you implement one idea from the book, or until you exhaust those ideas.
Right.
Then you go to the next book.
Yes.
And I thought that's very true.
Very similar, and I like to reread over and over again because
It's like a whole new book sometimes.
not just that, and I do look for that. Well, what am I implementing out of it now? So let's say I am reading it and I got something out of it and I'm implementing. The problem is when we go from book to, especially in our industry, when we go from book to book to book, it's almost like going from app to app to app, where this is the new shiny, bullet. Okay, I'm going in this direction, and we're half-assing everything. Versus, hey, let me read that book, let me get that, let me reread it. Oh, let me layer again, layer again, layer again. Interesting when we have conversations, we tend to talk about the same books over and over again. There's a handful of them that are go-tos. But it's because we've embraced what's in there as a whole and not just taken out that one thing that we've gotten from it and moved on.
True.
All right. So, implement one. Put
Don't
it
get
in place.
overwhelmed,
Don't get overwhelmed. Layer, layer, layer. I love that. That's the word of the day, layer. Layer cake. Got to start with the bottom. And the next layer. Put frosting on it. Next thing you know, got that big old, what was that? Claim jumper.
Good old claim jumper.
All right. If there's nothing else, I say thank you.
Yeah, good episode.
Yeah.
Appreciate the questions.
If there's something that does come up, please feel free if you're catching this at a later time or you go back and review it, drop something in the comments. We'll come back and take a look at it. Let us know how we're doing and how we can improve and what other things we can bring of value to you.
Or if we can help you.
Yeah.
We'd love to sit one-on-one and be a sounding board or set up a regular opportunity to meet.
Absolutely. Because, yeah, no one asks the question of being accountable.
Because no one wants to. But I'll take this moment to say we are starting accountability next week. I'm bringing it back.
All right.
Wednesday at 10 a.m. right here at the Alton office. So
Very good.
if you're interested in coming out, being held accountable, I'd say in a gentle way, where we just ask how you're doing and how you did with your goals. But it also always goes into a great mastermind type of event, and someone will present a challenge and other agents will say, I've been there. Let me tell you what I did, or give you an idea of what direction you can head in to resolve that issue.
Absolutely.
So it's 10 weeks of accountability, group accountability. There we go.
So I'll finish with this question. Are you watching the Masters?
I would be lying if I said I didn't have it on my computer a little earlier today. You know what? I would watch it on the weekend, but when they announced Tiger was in it, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
How hugely popular he is.
He brought golf back onto the map. I mean, and it's just crazy. He was a game changer when you look back and how golf evolved and where golf was going, and when Tiger came in and how it just changed the industry overnight. He's been such a asset to the sport. It's crazy. But yeah, ratings are up.
Yeah, be good. Should be a good weekend for golf.
One guy, it's kind of like us. Ratings are up because we're on Facebook Live, so bandwidth is probably exploding right now on the internet.
We like to think anyways.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you guys very much. I appreciate it, and have a wonderful rest of the week. And it depends on what day of the week you see this, but have a wonderful day.
Yeah.
All right.
See you later.